Started with Amik Robertson going into his freshman year. Was a kid that just reached out to me, asking about what I was doing as far as training on my free time. Still was working at the time, so I wasn't a full-time trainer. So he just was reaching out, seeing what we was doing as far as on our free time. When I did get off, he would make as many days as possible. Noticed that he was a very hard worker, very coachable kid. You know, he was a kid that was trying to set himself apart on all levels, as far as the weight room, the field, the mindset in the classroom. So I noticed all those tangibles early. Just looking at him, just being around the kids that he hung with, I can tell that he had a different mindset. Some of those kids are successful in other ways, but I can tell that this kid really wanted to be successful as an athlete. So we just started attacking it real hard. The blessing in disguise was that I got laid off and I had a bunch of free time. So God blessed me with the time to just sit myself down and think about what I really need to be doing. And it was basically me making the decision to say I'm a trainer. So went full speed ahead with it, starting with nothing. We was out there almost every day with tape measures or whatever I can find just to use as landmarkers. And every day Amik Robertson was there, doing whatever I told him to do, doing it full speed at a high level. So just that started it off. And basically when everybody realized what we was doing, it started bringing like a whole lot of kids around. But as far as Amik, it was always, he was there consistently. Every day, he didn't barely miss. Even when he didn't have a ride some days, I would leave a session just to go get him and make sure he was there. I'd have kids training at the field, and I'd be on my way to go and get Amik, just because I knew that this guy can be special, and I didn't want him to miss the opportunity because of simple mishandles or simple stuff that he don't have, like we don't have as young kids. So eventually it just took off and he just started doing his thing. Going into his freshman year, he dominated, set himself apart on that level, played varsity ball as a freshman, scored a few touchdowns. 10th grade year again, he came around, showed that he's a different guy. He's not the regular athlete that we see around here. Then he came through his junior year and dominated basically on what we call a torn ACL, but what they label a hyperextension. So he played basically a few games on the torn ACL his junior year, and that's what really put the stamp on it for me. When I saw him in the playoffs and he gave Mandeville 200 yards on the torn ACL, to find out after that season that the leg was torn, that was just crazy. That's when I came to the realization, like, hey, this is the guy that's going to change the culture around here. So basically after that, you know, it was a minor setback because he went into his senior year. The summer before his senior year, that was when the adversity really struck. I mean, he had a kid that young, that was some major adversity. So you got to test your mental with that too. You got to think about, hey, what I'm going to do? Am I going to get a job, or I'm going to be a regular guy chasing this dream that's going to pay off in the long run? You know, he looked at the long-term investment as far as that. So, I mean, I wouldn't say his kid was as much adversity as the adversity he faced when he was chasing his dream and he realized he couldn't attack the summer going into his senior year like he wanted to show the college scouts that I am this guy from Thibodaux, Louisiana that could compete with everybody across the world. I just need to show y'all that. So not having the opportunity to show that during the summer, that kind of put a stain on everything as far as him, you know, being recruited. But it had a few schools that stayed loyal, like La Tech. They came around early and stuck around, and it paid off for him. So after the surgery, it was, let's look at the camps. Let's look at the dates. Let's see when we can have you back. Let's see when we can have you ready to perform at a high level, because we're not going to put no garbage, no noodle. Let's say we're not going to put a noodle recipe up against shrimp fettuccine. That's just not going to happen. So we looked at the calendar and we sat down. We said, hey, we got one summer. We got one camp we can hit this summer. And it's the LSU camp.
At LSU 7-on-7 camp with Amik Robertson right here, you know what I'm saying? His cousin supporting him, you know. We're about to make it do what it do out here in LSU, you know what I'm saying?
Some highly touted receivers out there, put itself on the map. Schools came, a few schools still you know, waited around, played his senior year at quarterback at high school as far as at Thibodaux, so he didn't really get to show what he could do at DB unless they played against a big-time receiver, in which, when he did, he showed that he was basically a blanket, you know, so he showed a little bit what he could do at DB in high school, but people didn't really see it unless he was on a circuit or we was playing against a big-time receiver, in which they didn't have too many in the district that year, so they didn't really see him at DB. So basically after the senior year, it was, you know, hey, we're going to continue grinding like we've been grinding from day one. That's the thing about it, too. It never changed. It was never like, hey, we got to this level, let's start changing it up, let's get comfortable, let's take days off. It was always the same thing in the same brutal heat, the same brutal work, the same mind straining, same body straining work every day that we got in. And it really showed. Once he got to La Tech, he set himself apart as a freshman. He came back home and we did the same work. He set himself apart as a sophomore. Came back home, same thing after the All-American season, he did the same thing. Came home after the junior All-American season. This is 2 All-American seasons, and he still had the same mindset of trying to get better. I'm not comfortable. I have to be better. I have to compete with the best guys in the world. And for me to do that, I can't get comfortable. Kept that mindset the whole time after 2 All-Americans. And I mean, a bowl MVP. I mean, the team voted him MVP. I mean, that kid got a few awards, some rings. I mean, he still kept that same hunger. And after the junior season, declaring to go to the NFL, guess what happened? Same hunger. I mean, what I got to do to get better? He linked with the best trainers as far as Clay Mack and Ryan Clark. He did some work with them, and he stayed trapping with me as far as the hard work we was doing. He stayed loyal to what we was doing. So as you see now, he's on the level as far as the NFL, what people dream to do.
Just so we can see 10.
They gonna feel you, bro. The Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders will pick in.
Don't play.
Pick in.
Don't play.
Amik Robertson, let's go, baby. Let's see, baby. Don't play, man. Don't play. Don't play with him. Real talk, man. Real talk. It's up, baby. It's up.
Are you excited for your dad to be a Las Vegas Raider?
It out into the flat. It's intercepted at the 35-yard line and going right to the end zone. With the first score of the game is Amik Robertson, the second leading tackler. That's his second interception. He returned the first one 36 yards. This is a special player at quarterback for Louisiana Tech.
How do you want to change your life? You know what I'm saying? How do you want to change your family life? And what legacy you want to leave? You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. You got to look at your surroundings. Every day you should ride around and see something to motivate you, especially living where we live at. You know what I'm saying? You can ride a minute and you gonna see something that motivates you. So coming from where we come from, the motivation is nothing. I mean, like I put on social media the other day, if your mom's still working, what you need a motivational speech for? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we trying to retire your mom. You gotta go home, no matter what you're doing in life, you should attack it as if I wanna be the best person in the world at this. Like, why would I wanna be ranked at 2,000 when I could be ranked in the top 5? You know what I'm saying? You can't attack this life. And that's in anything. I'm not just saying about sports. I got guys that's just regular guys that I can tell right now, man, you gonna be the best business owner in the world right now because I can tell your mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's just about changing the life and wanting to change how you came up. You know what I'm saying? You came from a rough situation like Amik, you know, living in always at grandma's house, everybody on the floor, you know, 4 people in one room sometimes, you're doubling up in beds. I mean, you gotta understand, if you're not motivated by your background, you're not motivated by seeing people that you grew up with getting killed, people in the streets getting caught, going to jail. You know, once you get that person felony, it's over. It's tough. Ain't too many people gonna take that chance for you. So you gotta think about yourself and brand yourself, not nothing else. You gotta think of yourself, whatever your name is, John Doe, brand John Doe. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the best custodian in the world. I want to be the best vendor in the world. You know what? I'm going to make a punch. And I want this punch to be globally known in the world as the top seller in the world. It's just that simple. You can't just sit around and get comfortable with, hey, you know what? My neighborhood recognized me as this. My family love me. I'm comfortable with this life I'm living. It's not that easy. It's gonna come to a point to where you gotta change somebody's life. You gotta aspire to wanna be better for somebody else to be better. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about you. It's a long-term investment in everything. And you want your community to change. You want your family history to change. You gotta be a change, and you gotta attack whatever grind you're trying to attack. You know what I'm saying? To try to get there. It's not gonna be easy. You gonna face adversity. You gonna get injured if it's a sports thing. You gonna face an injury. Or you gonna face having a child. Or you gonna face your mom being in the streets on drugs. Your dad not being there. Your dad being laid off. You can't get the nice shoes you always used to get. Your friend get killed. You gonna face some adversity in life to where you gonna have to sit down and look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, what change will I make to change what's coming behind me? Even if it's my family, or if it's even somebody in my community. You don't gotta be my blood for me to want you to be the best you can be. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. And that's what it's all about now. And that's what Amik Robertson is about.
This where all the magic happened at, man. This where the future, you know, came to big top dog, man. We had to put in work on it.
Way before
And for the people, all right, for the people, y'all wanna know, how did this monster develop the way, you know? You can thank him right there. Going with the glaze on, he trying to be cool.
I told you.
That moment right there, hey.
What I told you.
Hey, he threw me in that water when I was 5, you
You
know?
was the first one to put the hood up.
He threw me in that water when I was 5,
Because I saw you was a young show. Go get it. Go out there and swim with him. Go swim. Go get it.
What made stand out to me is the skill. You know, as a little dude, you know, a little boy, you know, when he put the ball in his hand, he done his thing. You know, and like I told other dudes, you know what I'm saying, he's tunnel vision. He focused on what he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he took it and ran with it.
Right.
You know, like he was saying a lot of, you know what I'm saying, he could have did a lot of the dudes did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He said focus. You know what I'm saying? He stick to his crowd. You know, he's serious about it. You know what I'm saying? And he roll with it.
You heard him, huh? Real treacherous. This is what we call the trenches, and he survived this month. He survived it, you know, with no felonies. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's hard to survive. You know what I'm saying? This block right here, man, with no felonies, no bad background. It's hard, but you know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
The brand on his shoulder, he was made up already. It was made up already.
Hey, it's hard. Who you know?
Yeah, man. He likes to see me.
We still elevate, you heard?
Yeah, man, that's only the beginning, though. That's only the beginning, man.
One person I can't
You know, this big mining right here, it always been mining and me. You know what I'm saying? By his mama, and by their mama being sisters, and they was born probably days or weeks apart. I ain't gonna lie, I'm the big cousin. It's always been mining and me. Mining ain't nothing changed. What y'all see today, ain't nothing changed. It been like that. It been like that before the bands. You know what I'm saying? It been like that. Mining and me.
rest history, honestly. Just work as much as we can, 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it was right after football practice. Whatever we had to do to be better than everybody, to set ourselves apart, we did it. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, he can enjoy the fruits of life, the fruits of what he didn't put in now. As you can see, that big black boy sitting over there.
Spaceship.
That comes straight from the grind, man. That don't come from nothing else but hard work, dedication, tears, sweat, frustration, good times, bad times. And so it's always about leveling yourself up, bettering yourself. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep that mental, you're gonna make the Hall of Fame. You just gotta work hard and believe in the man, believe in yourself, believe in your work. You know, sell yourself. You can't just jump out there and say, hey, I'm doing this, and I'm only doing it today and tomorrow, and then you can check me out next month. You gotta, hey, I'm doing this, and next year you're gonna see me doing the same consistently. It's not gonna stop. Blueprint right there. Action, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. You know what I'm saying? You gotta adapt that lifestyle. Once you adapt that lifestyle, people around you gonna adapt that lifestyle.